IPJ and my man, John Buckets. Hey, Buckets, before we get to you, I do have to apologize real quickly. I know we were late pressing the record button, but you know what happened?
What happened?
Hot Coco, she invited me in the shower. And unfortunately, that shower took longer than I expected. And it brought to my attention, I wondered, Buckets, have you ever been invited in the shower?
It's going to be one of those episodes already, I can tell, Ian. Holy cow. No, I have not been invited to the shower. I'm too busy finding winners. I'm too busy going 5-1 in international break, Ian. I'm a busy guy. I don't have time for showers.
Why is your face going red, Buckets?
Oh, no, it's the shirt. It's the shirt. It's just whatever it's called, man.
All right, let's get into the show. Welcome along to Stoppage Time, everybody, with IPJ, who is a very happy and relaxed and certainly clean man right about now. And my man, John Buckets Simon. Now, Buckets, there's no easy transition from what we were just talking about to the question I'm about to ask you. How was your weekend with Mama Buckets?
Oh, terrible segue. But my weekend with my mother was great. It was great seeing her. I missed Mama Buckets. We played some pickleball. We had some good food and all around had a very relaxing, enjoyable weekend.
That's awesome. I mean, we are all big fans of Mama Buckets. I know you've put her out there on a few broadcasts before, and she's provided some best bets elsewhere, and it's lovely to see that. What does she think of our show, Stoppage Time, and this amazing, amazing project that you have built?
She is very proud of what we're all doing here. She loves me. She loves you. She loves producer Jeff. She does sometimes, just sometimes, say that I think that IPJ curses a little too much. But hey, I've told her that's who you are, and IPJ will not change that for anyone, no matter what.
I have no idea what the fuck she's talking about. I have no idea what she's fucking talking about. Who swears around here? I'll give you an inside story, okay, real quickly, just into my personal life, just a little bit, because I know the loyal listeners enjoy a few of our stories. When I met Hot Coco's mom and dad, pretty religious family, certainly a bit more protective of their children, and you're not necessarily okay to swear in that religion. First thing I did was just let everybody know that I ain't fucking changing for anybody, and I love your daughter first and foremost, and she will have this wonderful life if you allow me the opportunity to share it with her. And they were very warm and welcoming and opening, and her mom said to me, and shout out to Mama Teresa, she said to me, Ian, be your fucking self. And I loved that right there, because it was an introduction that, okay, where I come from, language like that is obviously around us all the time, but it doesn't happen around the world. So if anybody out there is offended my language, I do apologize, but I ain't fucking stopping. Let's get on with the show. Buckets, it has been international break over this past weekend, and it is over. Thank the fucking Lord. I thought it was boring. There were some good games. There was some entertainment. But I want to get your opinion real quickly on this weekend, because I miss club football, man.
I miss club football. And that's how you know that we really don't like international break, Ian, is we absolutely cleaned up. We cashed a ton of tickets. We made a bunch of money. And I was still bored this entire week. I was scraping some of the bottom of the barrel leagues I could find to find picks for everybody. And it was productive from the bets. But I'd honestly rather be losing bets and watching club football than having to win bets and watching any more of this international break nonsense.
I can almost guarantee you that the loyal listeners disagree with you. They'd rather be cashing tickets no matter where they go. And funny enough, we did cash a lot more tickets on the international break when it was boring than we have been doing on club ball. But club ball is back. Before we get there, though, the Euro 2024 groups are set. Buckets, your thoughts on this? I'm going to read through the groups. Obviously, you can see them here. Group A, Germany, Scotland. Come on, boys! First game of the Euros will be Germany against Scotland. Hungary and Switzerland. Group B is also set. Spain, Croatia, Italy, Albania. Potentially a group of death there. Group C is Slovenia, Denmark, Serbia, and England, who would imagine are absolute favourites there. Group D, Poland, Netherlands, Austria, France, another tough group. Group E, Belgium, Slovakia, Romania, and Ukraine. What a great thing they did to Ukraine. Coming back, Mudryk scoring that winner in the playoffs just to get in there. Great thing they're doing for their nation. Group F, Turkey, Georgia, Portugal, and Czech Republic. Your thoughts overall?
Overall, I think we have some incredible groups here. There's a couple teams in this competition that I thought there's no chance they were going to make it to the Euros, and I'm glad to see them here. But we definitely have a couple group of deaths. We've got some teams that should be, just egregious favorites. England should, dominate every single game they play in Group C. They should be heavy favorites. I think Group A has a tremendous draw for Germany. Germany looking good to get out of that group, which obviously I care about. They'll get out with Scotland, of course, Ian. Yeah, that's going to be the top two there. But all around, I'm very excited for this competition, man.
Real quickly, let's have a look at the futures right now. Still trying to get some odds for everybody. Not all the groups were settled on the sportsbook when I was looking at it as to group odds. I'll go through them at some point as we get closer to the tournament. But England are favourites at plus 300, France plus 340, Germany plus 600. Great performance from Germany in France recently. Nice welcome back from Toni Kroos. Spain plus 700, Portugal plus 800, Belgium plus 1400, and then all the way down. Croatia plus 4,000 is not a bad shout, but they are in the group of death with Spain, Italy, and Albania as well. Okay, the international break is finally fucking over, and me and Buckets decided we wanted to do something pretty special for our loyal listeners, so be prepared. There are bets, and more bets coming to you from the show. In all, there will be 14 bets on our show today. Buckets, I don't think we've ever done this before.
No, we've never come close to this. And when you texted me last night saying, hey, thank God break is over, let's do something special for the listeners, I was all in, man. This is going to be a fantastic show.
All right, let's quickly just review what happened this past weekend, because even though out there I saw many tickets losing on the international break, because a lot of people don't know how to bet the international break. But you know who does know how to bet an international break? My man, John Buckets, full of fucking money, Eimer. Most people were losing, as I mentioned it, but Buckets, you had a fucking incredible weekend, and the show did well as well.
Yeah, we did incredible, and I'm not going to bash other people, but I did see a lot of, I'm with you. I saw a lot of losing tickets. International break is very tricky to bet. It's very difficult to find value, but not for me and IPJ. I'm going to run through this recap. Let's call it a recap this time. That makes more sense. Jeff, get ready with the ding, 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 because we saw nothing but check marks, baby. We started on Thursday with Poland versus Estonia. Ding, Poland ding, over 2.5 team total at plus 100, even money. Ding! No problem. Poland ran over Estonia after Estonia got that early red. Second match, and our only loss, surprisingly, here was the U21 Germany squad against U21 Kosovo. I said the most goals in the second half. It was 0-0 at halftime. Perfect for us. It ended 0-0 in that match. So that is our one X. I got you, Jeff, there. Then Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Winner, 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 winner. St. Louis, both teams to score, and New England Revolution, both teams to score. My MLS parlay at plus 160. Cashed it. Sunday. Oh, never mind. That one got suspended once again because we need to stop betting on Uruguay. Those games apparently just aren't being played. That was a push. No match played. Monday, Albacete versus Racing Club de Ferrol. Both teams to score at plus 110. Ding once again in the Segunda division. And then Tuesday, England versus Belgium. England to score in the second half. They scored in the 90 plus fifth minute. The last shot of the game in stoppage time. Ian, you love to see it.
You fucking crushed it, mate. Well done. Congratulations. And I know you were very happy this weekend. Real quickly, I want to talk about that a little bit more in just a second. But I also cashed my ticket back to winning ways after going blank, now back in the win column. The bet was called the Who is the Hot Coco best bet. It was Toronto against Atlanta United. My best bet was Toronto FC on the money line. It was in plus numbers, plus 125. And I don't know why it was there. Toronto won by 2-0. Spicer scored the opening goal 35 minutes in. Owusu scored in the 71st minute to make it 2-0. Relatively easy victory for Toronto, even though Atlanta United were missing, and they made 6 changes, 5 changes, I think. 6 changes, I think it was, in the end of the day, to their starting 11 from the previous victory they had the weekend before. I am back in the win column, as I just mentioned right there. After 2 weeks missing out, I am now 6-6, if I'm not mistaken, over the last shows that we've done since the reboot. But Buckets, I wanted to touch upon something that I noticed hit a nerve with you. On social media, you took to social media, and this was the little rant and reminder that you put out there. I'm 15-5 over my last 2 weeks of free plays on Twitter. Let me repeat that. Free plays on Twitter. Let me repeat that again. 15-5 on free plays over Twitter. My play today missed, and I've seen some brutal messages. I'll never stop posting plays because I love what I do, but I get why so many people lately on this platform stop posting, turn off comments, and get discouraged. An important reminder to everybody, no matter who you're tailing, no matter if it's a paid service or a free play, you and only you are the one who places that bet. If one bet misses and that causes you to get upset or threaten someone, you're not betting responsibly and you shouldn't be betting on sports. We as a community need to be better. Rant over. Back to good vibes, dog updates, and awful food pictures. I appreciate y'all. Now, this is an important subject that I don't think we just need to wash over here, because what I am noticing that sports betting in particular with our sport, soccer, is becoming incredibly popular. People are trying to do what we do. They're trying to produce picks. A lot of people are selling their picks and giving an opportunity for people to do memberships and subscriptions. And some people are simply just not good enough in giving out poor information, which drives me fucking crazy. But yet we're here giving a free show to everybody, free picks to everybody, but yet you're still seeing criticism. And that's not healthy for what we're trying to build here.
It's not healthy. And Ian, I don't know if I'm going to have the same level of rant that you had where you've got flames in the background and producer Jeff is putting heavy metal, but I'm coming at here with more of the, the caring vibe for people. I don't get upset when people get mad at me. When people tweet saying, Buckets, this was a bullshit pick, this team's terrible, blah, 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 how could you? That never makes me mad. It makes me sad, if I'm being honest. It makes me disappointed in how people are betting this game. The bet that people got mad at, Ian, was I was on both teams to score in that Georgia versus Greece game. Obviously, that ended 0-0. If you're not going to have any shots on target, you're not going to get any goals. That's how it goes. But people saw that game, and I'm assuming people don't watch a lot of Georgian or Grecian soccer, and people said, Buckets, I watched that game. They're effing terrible. Nobody could score, blah, blah, blah. Why are these pro players? And it's people coming at you from the perspective they don't know what they're doing. People, especially in soccer, they see us betting all these crazy teams like Albacete and Ipswich Town. And, people haven't ever seen that before, so they're only basing it off that individual result. And that cannot be how you bet on soccer. And that can't be how you consume or watch soccer content. This is a very, very difficult sport to bet on. Ian and I put in hours and hours and hours of work to find you guys incredible value and good lines here. But ultimately, we are two guys sitting behind a computer screen talking about the sport. We are not the players. We are not the coaches. We are not the managers. We cannot impact how these guys actually perform when it's go time. So you got to remember that moving forward. If one loss causes you to say, Buckets, I'm going to kick your ass, or Buckets, like now I can't afford my rent, stop betting. Stop tweeting, stop betting, get your shit in order, and be better before you come to the comments to anybody, me or any other capper, because you're not doing this right and it's affecting you, your mental, and your health here. And that's more important than winning a wager.
Yeah, well said. I'm very proud of you, and I can see that you're growing the way you're handling these situations and the criticisms that you receive, because it's not easy. Social media is a very dangerous place, and obviously with us being extremely open in how we produce our show, thank you, producer Jeff, for doing so, but we basically give you great content, great entertainment, and free picks for you to go place your wagers. And I don't want the other people who are in the betting space to be frightened. Maybe they're not as mentally strong as we are. That's probably a poor choice of words. Maybe they're just not interested in listening to people be fucking assholes. They don't need that criticism in their life. Me and Buckets don't really care what you think or say. We're only giving you entertainment and fun and some knowledge. It's up to you to actually place that wager. But I'm very proud of you, Buckets, for the way you're handling it. And of course, the bigger the show gets, the more eyeballs that will be on you, the bigger the entertainer and the bigger the analyst or host that you will be with our show Stoppage Time and on networks or wherever we go, the more people will be coming at you. So it's how you handle certain situations. And people out there just need to remember what was on my t-shirt last week. You've got to be very careful. You got to be careful who you talk to and how you talk to them, because even though a lot of people out there hide behind social media names, it's not okay to do what you're doing. It's disappointing. And what it will do is it'll effectively make the product that we're trying to put out there not as great. And a lot of people who are in the betting community or producing content in the betting community will go hide. They'll not produce it anymore because you're being a fucking dick. So please don't do that. Please get behind the community. And it's not just me and Buckets. We know a lot of people who are trying to put content out there, and maybe they just don't have that confidence to keep on going when they get knocked down or they have a bad week. Me and Buckets are a little bit different. Our show is not just about betting. We want to entertain you. We want to give you an opportunity into our lives. Fuck, I was just talking about Hot Coco inviting me in the shower 20 minutes ago. As you can see, I got a big smile on my face now. But at the same time, that's what our show is all about. So please be out there treating people with respect and do so in a kind manner. And sometimes go out of your way and let people know how much you are appreciated. Buckets, you certainly are from our community. Let's fire through some of the comments today. You ready?
Let's do it.
All right, let's go into thanks to you. Hit that BTTS in MLS and Toronto winning. Ka-ching, ka-ching. Buckets, that must make you happy because MLS, I know, you're not necessarily one who bets on it regularly.
Yeah, I don't even know how to pronounce it. I kept calling it the MLS last week and had people attacking me again in the comments, but I'm getting better at watching it. I'm getting better at learning it, and we're obviously getting better at betting it, Ian.
Boston Maria, this video is a banger with a ton of emojis right there. Maria, we thank you so much for jumping in the comments. Please let us know who your team is. I mean, we want to have more females on our show, so please jump in the comments regularly and let us know how you're getting on in the betting space and what you like and what you don't like. With watching 48 hours of basketball in 4 days, I almost forgot to comment this week. Can we get a Buckets update on being on the cast of The Bachelorette? He'd be more interesting pick to be on the show than the two clowns that they are usually on there. I have two daughters, so I'm forced to watch. Buckets, that was from Mark. Any update on The Bachelorette front?
Mark, not yet. I keep bugging them, though. I'm not going down without a fight. I think it'd be so much fun to be on that show, so I'm going to keep working on it.
I'm quietly confident that myself or producer Jeff have an in to major networks. So if there's anyone you need to speak to about getting on a show, Buckets, let us know. I'm confident we could at least get you an interview. Let's go to KC123MD. Like, comment, subscribe, people. We have 125 likes and only 22 comments. Just put in a soccer ball emoji or an exclamation point. We need this for the people in the smoke-filled boardrooms at YouTube to make this show soar. Now, Buckets, I'm not going to lie, I remember the days where we struggled to get 3 comments and 10 likes. Now, where we're at right now is a community who wants us to be successful.
Yeah, you love to see that. When we first started, I remember the first time we hit 1,000 views on one of our videos, it was this, holy shit, how did we do that moment? What's going on? And now our least viewed videos that's going on during International Break and March Madness, we're still coming up to 4K. I was super proud of the support we had, and I know it's going to keep growing.
I know, it's doing such a great job right now. We go to Stephen Tompkins. That was some hellacious capping on the Toronto versus Atlanta MLS game, Ian. Like Bucket said, you really did your homework on this one. And with so many of Atlanta's players missing the game because of the international break, there's no way this should have been in plus odds. I'm happy that you ended your mini slump and made all of your devoted followers some cash in the process. Now we need to see you on the dance floor. Hashtag have it. Stephen, don't worry about it. I'm working on some dance moves just for you. Speaking of dance moves, Frank Rubinho. I feel like we should put on some porno music for Frank because he's always after the Hot Coco. IPJ stands in for HC, meaning Hot Coco. You have big shoes to fill. Step up. Well, guess what, Frank? IPJ's in the house with a fucking winner. Who is Hot Coco? That was the name of the bet. Just kidding. She's back once again today for you, Frank. She is back with another banger. We go to HT Wrestling. I cashed a BTTS bet on the first leg of Albacete Ferrol. It was at plus odds, so I thought I'd just watch the game. It was insane. Buckets, your thoughts?
Yeah, that was a great game, too. There were 2 missed penalties in that game, and VAR pulled away 2 goals as well, and we still hit our both teams to score. That's how you know it's a good one.
Second best, jumping in and saying, hear that? Dropping nothing but bangers. Ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. Well done. Let's have some fun with that. Brian Strong. I wonder if it's the Brian Strong. Good friend of mine, Brian Strong. I don't know if it is. Damn, IPJ, I got to get me one of those t-shirts. That's so awesome and just my attitude as well. Love the show, both of you, and the hard work your entire team puts in every week for the loyal listeners. Brian, appreciate you. That shirt that I wore last week was actually a golf shirt from Puma. I got it in New York City, so feel free to go and try and find it on Puma. So comfortable, that's why I wear it. Nick Mace jumping in and saying, great show, lads. When are we going to get some much-deserved screen time and picks from producer Jeff? Buckets, keep being the legend you are and dance your little heart off. Hashtag have it. Little throwback to Buckets' dance move, producer Jeff, if you'd like to do that right about now. A little bit of a crazy dancer, John Bucketimer is there. And a lot of people love the dance move, Buckets. Me, not so much. Producer Jeff, though, what do you think, Buckets? You know, he's 0-1 for the producer Jeff picks that he quietly slid into the show last time. That's what he gets for betting against NYCFC and trying to prove me wrong. But what do you think? Should we start to maybe get producer Jeff in the show?
I think we need to get him on the show. I don't know if I trust his bets, though, Ian. I mean, to go against the mighty NYCFC, that just shows lack of character in my mind. So we got to be careful with the betting with him, but absolutely bring him on.
Let me just tell you out there, okay? Producer Jeff has got a face for fucking radio, okay? There's a reason why he's in the production chair. He's a genius in the production chair. We all can fucking see that with what he's doing with our show. But this is an award-winning producer we're talking about here that sometimes likes to work his dark arts behind the scenes. Some people, that's where they like to do their craft. They do it in their own time, and producer Jeff is no different. I can't describe how much I love your show. Can't wait for next week's episode. The best duo ever. IPJ and Buckets could be its own movie. It could be a blockbuster. Ha 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 ha. That one comes from Dennis. Now, this comment got me thinking, Buckets. If we were to make our own movie, who would you have play the role of John Bucketimer?
Oh, man.
There's only one I can think of.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, who do you think of?
Dolph Lundgren.
I agree. Dolph Lundgren.
That motherfucker's a big dude, man. And he is you, right? I mean, you obviously need to get in the boxing gym a little bit more, but at the same time, that's a big motherfucker. And he looks a lot like you, Buckets.
Dude, let me put on 80 pounds of muscle and I'm maybe where Dolph is at, but I think we could make that work. Dolph, if you're watching, Dolph, let us know in the comments.
Do you know who I would go for?
Who?
People will be surprised with this one. One of my favorite actors. I've got two big actors that I love. Denzel Washington's one of my favorites all time. But there's one out there, and it's from my favorite movie, Die Hard. John McClane, Bruce Willis. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, Bruce Willis, just, oh, man, dude, what an actor. I'm not saying he resembles anything like me, but I would just love to be a hardcore motherfucker like him. Like, I would love to be that. Just play a role like that would be so brilliant. What he did do in the movie world is absolutely unbelievable, and obviously he's going through some tough times right now, so sending a lot of love out there. Let's go back into the comments. Christopher Morris jumping in and saying, while I was looking forward to the Hot Coco best bet, a savvy punter knows when to take a break. Buckets, I was impressed that she took a break and gave me the opportunity to grab some MLS glory as you did.
Yeah, no, that was very nice of her to take the seat, the back seat there and let us shine a little bit in MLS. Boom, I'm learning. But yeah, we know she'll be back. And whenever she comes back, she's going to be slinging plus odds bangers that hit way too often, man.
Do you know something about my wife? You just said Hot Coco and back seat. I'm just going to say it right there. Be careful what you say in that bucket time.
Poor dirty Frank watching this episode. He's had to pause like 3 or 4 times already and just fucking
sweat pouring down his hair. We go to Nicholas Alves Wine. Great show and information. Nice cut, Buckets. IPJ, love the shirt. If that is really producer Jeff in the photo, he is swimming in the XL merch shirt. Let me know the size, Jeff. Fucking hell. Criticism and notification right there. Last comment before we get the fuck out of here. HT Wrestling. As a Benfica fan, I was really excited to see our girls do well. There's no comparison in the terms of the size of Lyon and French women's football compared to Benfica and our women's league. FC Porto, for a start, does not have one, which limits investment in the whole league because Porto as a city, as a club, brings a lot of fans and internal investment into it. And Buckets, real quickly on that note right there, because there's no doubt that HT Wrestling wants us to comment on it. Women's Champions League has been fantastic to watch, and the women's game in general deserves us to spend more time betting on it. Why do you think that we don't have the opportunity to place as many wagers on the women's game?
I mean, it's disappointing to see, but across the books, we're just not given the option and the opportunity. The only time I'm able to bet on women's league and women's soccer is when it is the Women's Champions League. If I look at any sports book, we don't get the US, what is it, USWL? Is that the abbreviation? UWSL?
No, the NWSL.
NWSL. We don't get the NWSL. I don't get to bet on Women's Premier League. I don't get to bet on Women's League or La Liga. I don't get any of those options. I'd love to, because when we can bet on these matches, as we see, there are so many talented players. We're seeing these high-scoring affairs and these great matches. But right now, we're just not given the option by the sports books.
Would it make you learn a little bit more, including how to pronounce the league? If you could bet on it?
It absolutely would. I promise you that.
This is my fucking point. Exactly that. If we could place wagers on it, our community, of course, there's a lot of people out there who are learning soccer because of our show and being able to place wagers on it. We could do so for the USL, for the championship. We could do so for the women's game. We could talk about it more, learn more about the players. And I'm not saying that it's a poor product or anything. What I'm saying is it's a great product that needs to be spoken about a lot more. Give us a chance to place some wagers on there as well. But I have made some money on the Women's Champions League buckets, and I'm gonna fucking test you this week as well. Speaking of which, you ready for best bets?
Let's do it.
Well, you know it wouldn't be a show of stoppage time if we didn't get some best bets from our Bucket Eimer, the unicorn, the betting expert, the blonde bombshell. John Bucket's Eimer's on fire right now, so welcome back to John Bucket's his best bets about to hit once again. Buckets, I'm going to mix it up this week because the loyal listeners demand, and I want to test the fuck out of you. You may be on a good roll right now, so when that happens, it's time for me to test you even more so. I want 11 best bets from you. Now, I obviously gave John Bucketsheimer a heads up that we were going to do this one. For each day buckets, I'm going to choose the league and I'll have you choose the bet. I've also already given you a heads up as to what league to go for on each day, therefore, so you could go ahead and choose those bets. But I'm, of course, talking about Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. We are going for 11 best bets. But I'm going to give you one bet on Thursday just to break us all in, and that bet has to come from the Women's Champions League. Now, on Tuesday, March 19th and Wednesday, March 20th, there was the first legs of these games. Ajax went down by 3-0 against Chelsea. Benfica, they scored 1 at home against Lyon, who scored 2. BK Häcken, they had 1 goal, and PSG scored 2, who probably should have scored more in that game. And Barcelona won by 2-1 away in Brandt as well. So if in case you didn't notice, all 4 games were away victories. Now, those 4 teams are at home against opposition. And what I'm looking forward to, John Bucketsheimer, is a big bet from you this week. Where are we going to, please, on Thursday?
For Thursday, we are going to that matchup between Barcelona and SK Brann. And if you are new to Women's Champions League or if you are new to women's football, I cannot talk highly enough about this Barcelona side. Barcelona women's team is one of the most dominant teams in any sport, in all of sports. This team is unfreaking real. And when I watched the first leg when they took on SK Brann, in which they won 2-1, Barcelona probably should have won that game 7-1. 8-1, 9-0, something crazy. I mean, they absolutely dominated every aspect of that game, and Brann just held on for their dear life. In that first leg, Barcelona had 72% possession. They had 32 shots, and they had 11 shots on target. They still won, but that is not how Barcelona wins. So when they come back to the second leg at home, I am expecting Barcelona to just run over Brann and make a statement to everybody that we're still Barcelona. We are the best team. And even though we won the first leg, that was an embarrassing win by Barcelona standards, and they will not keep it this close again. I'm looking at Barcelona to score over 1.5 team total in the first half, which means Barcelona has to score at least 2 goals in the first 45 minutes. And even that's at minus 145. So that's a little bit of juice, but that just shows how heavy favorites these are. And if you want to ladder Barcelona goals in this matchup, you might have some fun doing that as well, Ian.
I think I'm definitely going to ladder the goals over the total match in the game, and I know you love playing the first 45 minutes, and certainly I would expect to see multiple goals, and then you could even ladder the first 45 minutes if you think there's going to be more than 2 goals in this game and make a ton of money. Of course, Barcelona are the current holders of the competition, having won last year. They also won in 2021 as well, so 2-time winners of the Women's Champions League. Love that bet, John Bucketsheimer. Now let's move to Friday, where I'm going to test you with a best bet from the English Championship, and then we're also going to go to France's Ligue 1. Let's begin in the English Championship, where Leeds United are top of the table right now on 82 points. Leicester joint with 82 points, second in the table, having played a game less. Ipswich, Southampton, West Brom, and Norwich are all in the playoff positions right now, but I'm intrigued because there's games on Friday and Monday in the Championship, with it being Easter weekend. Where you're going to go on Friday?
I am going to one of those top 3 teams. I'm looking at the matchup between Blackburn and Ipswich Town. And I'm looking at this Ipswich Town, Ian, that has really started to turn things on and that are looking tremendous right now. This is a team that is third on the table with 81 points. They are only 1 point behind both Leeds and Leicester City, which means Ipswich is in a position right now in which they need to keep winning. They cannot slow down. They have to keep scoring goals. And if they do that, they might not even need to play in this playoff. They might just get automatic promotion. So this Ipswich Town has more motivation and more reason to kick some serious ass than almost anyone in the league right now. And they're playing a Blackburn side who is, I mean, they're fine. They're 17th on the table, 3 consecutive draws. They're not a good enough club to stop Ipswich if Ipswich is in the form that we have been seeing currently from them. I'm taking Ipswich over 1.5 team total for the match at minus 130. And this is a team that is capable of scoring 3 or 4 goals. If you look at their last matches, 6-0 win, 2-1 loss, 3-2 win, 2-0, 3-1, 4-3. This is a team that loves a good amount of goals. So if you want to take BTTS in the over, that's fine. But I love Ipswich specifically to score at least 2 here, Ian.
away from home already. Ipswich, who are competing at the top of the table to try and get automatic promotion, certainly not easy for them. 19 games, 10 wins, 5 draws and 4 losses, 27 goals scored, 20 goals conceded away from home for Ipswich, who have got a terrific team and doing so well. But going up against Blackburn Rovers is not easy. Blackburn just recently replaced their boss. John Eustace came in charge of their club, and so far it's not been easy for him. Just the 1 victory in the 10 games that he's had so far, but 6 draws, which has been very interesting. So a lot of draws from Blackburn Rovers, and I think they'll make it difficult for Ipswich. But with these games coming on Friday and Monday, Easter weekend's crazy. Played in the Championship. Obviously, that's where I did my rookie years. Anything can happen in these games. Love it, Bacchus. Let's go to Ligue 1, over to France. Obviously, there's games going on. But at the top of the table, PSG are 59 points. Second best team is Brest, who are having a great season on 47 points. Monaco sitting in third in the Champions League spot on 46. Lille then on 43. Nice on 43. And Lens on 42. Where are you going for your best bet?
We are going to this very competitive matchup between Lille and Lens here. 4th on the table versus 6th on the table. 2 teams that, again, are fighting for these European spots and who have that extra bit of motivation, because right now Lille is in 4th at 43 points, only 3 points away from a Champions League spot, and Lens is only at 42 points. So there's very few separating a lot of these clubs in France right now. I am very broken on how to bet this game. I spent a lot of time looking it over because I like both teams to score, but I wasn't confident enough in picking a winner. I wasn't sure if we were going to see a ton of goals. So I ended up going for a fun plus odds player prop here. I'm looking at the man, the myth, the absolute legend for this Lille side, Canadian forward Jonathan David. Jonathan David right now on 22 starts has 15 goals and 2 assists. He has been the leader for this team. And if Lille wants to win and wants to get this European spot, it's going to have to come off of the back or the boot of Jonathan David. I'm going for Jonathan David, anytime goal scorer. Ian, that's plus 140 for this guy who, again, is just doing everything for the team. And for a guy who did nothing during international competition, I don't think Canada played anything, any friendlies. They just rested. So I love Jonathan David to make an impact here.
No, they did. They played a big game against Trinidad and Tobago, and the winner of that game went to Copa America. And guess what? Guess what Jonathan David did in that game against Trinidad and Tobago? He got an assist in that game, almost, and probably should have scored in that game as well. What a fabulous player. He's having a great season, very competitive. 37 games across all competitions, 22 goals he has scored so far this season. Don't forget, last season he scored 26 goals in 40 games that he played across all comps for Lille. And the season before, 19 from 48. Season before, 13 from 48. The season before, he was playing in Belgium where he scored 23 from 40. He is not far away from a mega money move, and these are the games you need him to step up in. Love that bet, love a player prop, and I love the fact that I'm testing you buckets and I'm choosing the leagues because I'm making you have to go down an alley that some way you've got no other choice. You've got to try and find a play from there. And what you did do there is you found something incredibly special that most people simply wouldn't see. Let's go to Saturday. We got some big fucking games this weekend. We want to begin in the Premier League, and we're also going to go to the Bundesliga because there's a big game that we should talk about. But the Premier League is where we're going to begin. On Saturday, we've got Newcastle against West Ham, Bournemouth against Everton, Chelsea against Burnley, Forest against Palace, Sheffield United against Fulham, Tottenham against Luton, Villa against Wolves, derby game, and also Brentford against Manchester United. Where are you going?
I am going to my favorite Premier League team and the team that I'm going to bet every single week, baby. If you see Luton Town playing, you bet your ass I'm going to bet them. I'm looking at that Spurs versus Luton match, and Luton is in a bit of a weird spot, Ian. We haven't talked about it yet, but Nottingham Forest received a point penalty for breaking financial fair play laws. They have now dropped to 18th on the table, which means Luton Town is currently out of the relegation zone by 1 point. They're probably going to dip back into it, but you got to believe that Luton, being in this safe quote unquote spot right now, they're going to keep doing what they've always done. They're going to go for goals. They're going to not play defense, and they're going to give us exciting football. I'm looking at a Spurs side who is 5th on the table, 59 goals scored, but 42 conceded. These are 2 attack-heavy teams with no defenses. The only way I'll ever bet this game is the same game parlay of both teams to score and over 2.5 goals here at minus 120. I think Spurs could score 3 by themselves. I think Luton could contribute 2 here. This should be a very fun game, but you have 2 teams playing very aggressively for very different reasons on different ends of the table. Give me goals all day in this one.
Yeah, I love to see it. And Luton, even though, as you pointed out, their buckets, it's not been great for them this campaign. It's been brilliant to watch them. They don't have this die attitude. They're coming up and they're playing. They're trying to play football. They're trying to create. They're scoring goals. Maybe not necessarily in good form right now, but they have scored in 13 consecutive games. which is phenomenal. I think it was January 7th in the FA Cup, the last game that they didn't score, and it ended 0-0. But at the same time, Spurs' international break has been interesting. So vulnerability there for Spurs to concede is absolutely there. But Spurs are so good, and of course they have so many talented weapons at their disposal to actually go ahead and score multiple goals in this game. So I do love that bet. Let's talk about the big one in the Bundesliga. It is, of course, Bayern Munich against Jeff's Borussia Dortmund. Now, this basically is a game of buckets versus producer Jeff. I'm intrigued to hear from producer Jeff. So I'm really hoping that some way during this segment, producer Jeff has a place to put a wager in for his team, Borussia Dortmund, because I've got a feeling, buckets, you're not betting against Bayern Munich. But let's have a quick look at the table. Leverkusen top of the table on 70 points, 10 points behind them. Bayern Munich in second spot with 60 points, and Borussia Dortmund are in fourth spot on 50 points, 1 point above Leipzig for that race for the Champions League spots. Big fucking game here for both clubs. Buckets, I'm also going to produce a best bet for this game, but I'm going to let you go first.
Thank you for letting me go first. And Jeff, maybe you and I will have to have our own little wager off screen for this one as well, because it's bound to be an absolute banger of the game, Ian. But I'm going for kind of a weird bet here, if I'm being honest. And I found a bet that is almost plus 200 that has now hit in 4 of the last 5 Bayern Munich games. I'm looking at this matchup. I'm looking at 2 incredible offenses, and I'm looking at a Bayern Munich whose defensively has been still, even though they're winning, it's been lackluster. It's been a bit pitiful. I'm taking both teams to score in the first half, plus 190 in this matchup. And if you look at Bayern Munich's current form, Bayern Munich has had this hit now in 4 of their last 5 league matches. This is a team that is playing this Bayern Munich style once again of, hey, we're going to score 3 goals in the first half, but I'll be damned if we play an ounce of defense as well in that first half. So I love the lines that I'm finding here. I'm also loving just the head-to-head history. It loves this bet. Outside of Bayern Munich winning 4-0 in the last matchup, the previous score lines 4-2, 2-2, 3-1, 3-2, 3-1, 4-2, 2-3. Both teams are scoring over 2.5 is your best friend, but let's have a little fun. Let's risk it a little bit with some first half action once again here, Ian.
Yeah, I love it. I'm going to dive straight into my classic or best bet as well. Of course, Bayern Munich on the money line, minus 250. Borussia Dortmund plus 500 on the money line right there. My best bet for this game is the same game parlay. Bayern Munich on the money line, but I'm looking at the under 4.5 total goals in this game. It's plus numbers buckets. It's plus 125. And it's because there's so many goals in the Bundesliga. Obviously, average goals per game average is in the mid-3s for the Bundesliga. But this tie in particular, normally there's a ton of goals in this game. And obviously, I'm expecting a thriller. I want to see a thriller. But you never know after international breaks how players are, fitness levels, and what kind of product you're going to get. And please, this is my little nugget. Don't forget that both of these teams still in the Champions League and have got big games coming up within the next 10 days. Bayern Munich second in the table, 10 points behind Leverkusen, scored 78, which is the most in Bundesliga right now. They've conceded 31 goals. They've only lost 4 games. At home, they've played 13, won 11, lost 1, scored 47, and conceded 9. This is where it gets interesting for me. Injuries are a bit of a concern. Manuel Neuer will not start this game. From what I'm hearing, he's going to be out and possibly out until April 9th, where he should come back against Arsenal in the Champions League. Harry Kane, good news is he should be good to go this weekend. Bad news is he just missed the international break for England, didn't play in any of the games. So I'm wondering if he's taking a break, getting ready for these big games coming up, or if he's going to be rested in this game for the Arsenal game, which is coming up. Which is more important for Bayern Munich? We're going to find out. Maybe he starts on the bench. Maybe he starts. Don't forget, this is a big game for Thomas Tuchel as well. He was the Borussia Dortmund boss from June 2015 to 2017. Borussia Dortmund have not been convincing to me at all this season, and they're still in a battle for top 4. As I mentioned already, Buckets is on a future that I put out there. The Dortmund finish in the top 4. I think it was plus 160 for them to just finish in the top 4. They should, but Leipzig are in 5th, right behind them, and probably licking their lips at the fact that it's their Klassiker this weekend. Dortmund are 4th, 1 point above Leipzig. Away from home, they've played 13, won only 6. But they have, and this might help Buckets, drawn 6 of those 13 away games so far this season, but they've only lost 1 game. So not an easy team to beat on the road, but they're not winning as many as we would have expected. Why am I going for this bet? because it's just after the international break. Kane and Neuer injuries. Sabitzer suspended for Borussia Dortmund as well. And with the Champions League coming up, I've just got it in the back of my mind. That might be a priority. Now, I have left some wiggle room with the under 4.5. This works for me if I get a 1-0, a 2-0, a 2-1, or a 3-1. That works for me. But I want people to bet responsibly on this one. Even though it's plus numbers, it's still the Bundesliga, and we do expect goals. I'm just hoping it's not a crazy game. Bucket, your thoughts?
I can't really contribute to this bet, Ian, because the 3 times I've ever brought an under onto the show, I have gotten massacred with those bets. So I stay off of unders. We know that now. I understand the logic. I think it's the correct and a fantastic look, but I can't bet that because it will make the bet lose.
It's totally fine. Don't worry about it. I'm going to win anyway. Let's go to the Premier League on Sunday, and we also go to the Scottish Premiership on Sunday. Buckets, we go back to the Premier League because it is a big game. City against Arsenal. I am also going to provide a best bet for this one. Producer Jeff, feel free to jump in with a best bet for this game as well. I feel like the team needs to be involved in this show. But this is a big one. Arsenal top of the table on 64 points. Liverpool 64 points, second in the table. Manchester City 1 point behind in third spot on 63 points. Buckets, best bet for the big one.
Ian, full disclosure to everyone watching, this is my bet responsibly disclaimer. I hate this game from a betting perspective. This is a very, very tricky one to bet because it's the kind of game where if it ended 3-3 or if it ended 1-0, I wouldn't really be shocked either way. It's kind of hard to predict how these teams are going to play. In the reverse fixture, let's not forget, Arsenal won 1-0, which is a crazy thing to even imagine City not scoring. But I'm backing a bit of a revenge angle for City. I'm backing City playing at home. And most importantly for this bet, I'm backing Kevin De Bruyne to be fit again, as we have seen reports that he will be back in time for this matchup. When KDB starts, this City team is just different. And it is important to know that he is expected to start when I'm making this wager. I'm taking Man City. Again, over 1.5 team total. I think City scored 2 goals here. I'm not saying they're going to win. I'm not saying they're going to get 3 points. This game could end 2-2, but I do not see this City squad right now not scoring 2, regardless of how good a form Arsenal is, regardless of how good this Arsenal squad is. I just believe that City have their number here in the reverse fixture. Again, might not win, but they'll get at least 2 here, Ian.
Love the bet. Obviously, I'm thinking the same. And of course, I'm excited about this game. So, of course, we're going with great minds thinking alike here. Manchester City on the money line, minus 107. Arsenal, plus 280 on the money line. If you're looking for Manchester City to just get that victory, what's up, Freya? Minus 107 might not be the bad shout. I'm also looking at a player prop bet here. And I can't believe it's in plus numbers. Erling Haaland, anytime goal scorer, is currently sitting at plus 115. First and foremost, Erling Haaland in plus numbers is extremely fucking rare. So I cannot turn my head away when I see Erling Haaland and plus numbers. Second of all, I don't think he stepped up recently for Manchester City. No Premier League goal since he scored against Manchester United back in March 3rd, I think it was. 0 goals for Norway in the friendly games during the break, and was apparently forced to make an apology for his body language playing for his national team. He's due a goal, and I'm expecting a big game from him and somewhat of a response. So this could be also a big game that decides the title. Let's not forget that. And City are certainly taking this game incredibly seriously. Let's talk about the table. Manchester City are third right now, 1 point behind Arsenal, who are in first place. Liverpool, who are in second. Arsenal have an 11-plus goal difference better than Manchester City, and that means something. Arsenal beat City in the last game, as Buckets pointed out in London. Martinelli scored late on in that game, a winning goal. But let's talk about Erling Haaland right now. 29 goals across all competitions, 18 in the Premier League this season, 6 goals in the Champions League, 5 in the FA Cup. 10 of his 18 goals that he scored so far have been at home. Remember, I think he scored 5 against Luton in an away game most recently. So a lot of home goals coming in the favour of Erling Haaland. All-time his record is absolutely ridiculous. 87 games, 81 goals, 15 assists. At Dortmund before he was 89 games and 86 goals. So he's very similar to his stats from Borussia Dortmund as well. His record against Arsenal, 5 games. He's won 3 of those games. He has lost 2 games. He's scored only 2 goals in the 5 games, and he's also got 2 assists. He needs to step up, and he needs to step up in a big way, because this is the title for Manchester City. They don't win this game, I'm telling you, it's going to be much more difficult for City to go on and win. If you're looking for another angle, this is just simply information I'm providing for everybody out there. For him to score the first or the last goal in that game, it's plus 160. For him to score 2+ goals in that game, it's plus 550, which is something I'm probably going to put half a unit on. And for him to score a hat-trick or more, it's plus 2,500. Big game for Manchester City. Please don't forget that they need to play well and beat Arsenal. But I'm looking at a player here. And remember, if he scores one and they lose 4-1, I don't really care. I hit my bet. Manchester City win by 4 goals and he doesn't score. That would be kind of weird. So all I need is the big Norwegian to score. Buckets, your thoughts?
I love it because you already talked about how he had to apologize for his body language and how he needs kind of this bounce back game. He also missed a penalty against Slovakia in that same friendly in which he had to apologize for. So this is a guy that is desperately needing that bounce back. And again, every once in a while, you just need to remind people who you are. He's the cyborg. He's going to score goals here. I love this look, Ian.
Let's go to the Scottish Premiership. And I'm excited to go to the Scottish Prem on Sunday.
Yeah, I'll take you to the Scottish Prem on Sunday. I'm going to tell everybody right now, this is probably out of all 14 bets or out of my 11 bets, this is my absolute favorite bet. I'm looking at the match between Livingston and I'm looking at them hosting Celtic, and I'm taking Celtic over 2.5 goals on the team total here for a couple reasons. Number one, Celtic is number 1 on the table with the best offense in the Scottish Prem. Livingston is dead last on the table with the worst defense in the Scottish Prem. Number two, Celtic is in a title race right now. They are only 1 point ahead of Rangers. Rangers have a game in hand, and it might come down to goal differential. They are tied on goal differential at 48 goals currently, which means both teams need to be running up scores and they need to be scoring a lot of goals in case this gets down to the nitty gritty. And the third reason I love Celtic here, Ian, the Celtic have scored at least 3 goals in 4 of their last 5 match days. They beat Dundee 7-1, Livingston last time they played 4-2 in the Scottish Cup quarterfinals, and then St. Johnstone 3-1, also Motherwell 3-1. Celtic loves scoring 3 goals, and the fact that I can get that at almost plus odds here at minus 110, that's too good to ignore.
Celtic scored 3 in each of the last 3 visits they did play at Livingston. It is artificial surface there, so the ball bounces around like a fucking bounce ball. It's crazy. It's a different game when you're playing on artificial surface, but at the same time, Celtic just flying high at the top of the table on 71 points, 1 point above Glasgow Rangers. They know they need to score goals. They know they need to win games. And away on the road with Livingston, bottom of the table, and only 3 victories, 19 defeats on the season, and conceding 52 from 30 games. I love the bet buckets. Let's go to Monday. We go to Serie A and La Liga. In Serie A, it's a battle at the top of the table. Inter, 76 points. AC Milan, second, 62 points. Juventus, third, 59 points. There are some massive, massive games in Italy this weekend. So let's go to your best bet for Monday.
Whenever you hype up that there's massive games on the weekend, I always have to, on Monday, I've always got to go for kind of maybe the lesser of those matchups, because I'm looking at the game between Sassuolo and Udinese. Still an important game because we have Sassuolo in the relegation zone. They're currently 19th on the table, behind Frosinone and ahead of Salernitana. But right now, the Sassuolo side is desperate because we do have such a tight relegation race. Sassuolo has 23 points. Only at 28 points, you go to 13th on the table. So 3 points make a world of difference right now for any of these bottom of the table Italian clubs. They're playing an Udinese side who is pretty good, but they're pretty good at drawing. This Udinese side has 15 draws in 29 matches. This is a team that, for whatever reason, loves playing for those scrappy 1-1 or 2-2 draws here. I'm taking both teams to score at minus 125, Ian. Sassuolo have to go for goals here, and Udinese will probably concede like they usually do because they have conceded 44 times already this season, but they're going to end up tying it up. I think this one ends 1-1, and I'm going to take BTTS anytime it's playable with Udinese.
Both teams to score is hit in the last 5 games head-to-head between these two teams, but there's also been a ton of goals in those games. The last 2 games were 2-2. The one before that was 3-1 Udinese away from home. The one before that was 1-1, and the one before that on November 7th, 2021 was Udinese 3, Sassuolo 2. Sassuolo don't necessarily have a great record against them. They haven't actually beaten them since, I'm going all the way back here, March 17th, 2018, and that was an away game. At home, the last time they won was 2016 against them. So really interesting to see how this game plays out. But I'm glad you picked on the relegation battle there. There's money to be made in the bottom half of the table. Don't forget teams. Loyal listeners, don't forget teams at the bottom half of the table fighting for their lives. They're giving everything they've got. And as Buckets pointed out, if you go from 13th all the way down, it's 4 points separating them. And then you've got Sassuolo just a little bit behind them. But they're battling for their lives. So expect goals galore in that game as well. Let's go to the La Liga best bet for Monday buckets. Of course, Real Madrid are flying high at the top of the table on 72 points. Barcelona 64 points second. Girona have dropped down to third on 62 points. Athletic Club Bilbao and Atletico Madrid are on 56 and 55 points, battling out for that final Champions League spot. Hopefully Girona hold on to it. Where are you going on Monday?
This is a tough one. This is a really, really tough one because I'm going to be betting on a team that we like to bet on, but I'm going to bet on them to do poorly. I'm looking at the match between Villarreal and Atletico Madrid because I'm looking at this Atletico Madrid side and I'm saying, yes, they're amazing. Atleti's this historic club, all this heritage, blah, blah, blah. They are terrible on the road right now. This is a team that when they play at home, absolutely give me the team total, the money line, the over, whatever you want to do. But when you look at their current form on the road, it's abysmal. It's appalling, right? They're just getting smacked by teams they have no business losing to. They lost 2-0 to Cadiz. They drew 2-2 to Almeria, the worst team on the table. They lost 1-0 to Sevilla. Those are their last 3 away games in league play. This is a team that when they're on the road, you just can't back them. Meanwhile, Villarreal, after an abysmal start to the season, are turning things around. They have 4 consecutive wins right now, and this is a club that also found success in they lost in Europa League in that first leg, but they are dominating teams in league play right now. It's not the sexiest bet in the world, but I'm taking Villarreal double chance. So Villarreal win or draw, that's minus 140. If you want to do kind of a fun ladder with this, take double chance for 1 unit, take draw no bet at plus 140 for half a unit, and you might even sprinkle the money line right here because Villarreal in their form they're in against Atletico Madrid on the road, this is a weird matchup, but I think Villarreal win this outright, Ian.
Yeah, Villarreal at home are very, very difficult to stop winning. That's the big point right here. And of course, you pointed out there, it was Marseille they were competing against in Europa League. They lost. They got spanked 4-0 away from home. But then they came home and made it interesting. They were winning 3-0, I think, at one point and had a chance, then conceded a goal to make it 3-1. But at the same time, they are at home a dangerous team. They love to score goals. They beat Valencia in their last game. And before that, of course, in Europa League, they won by 3-1 against Marseille at home. They beat Granada 5-1 at home. They did draw a couple of games before that at home, 1-1 and 0-0. But they haven't lost at home this season since all the way back to Real Sociedad on December 9th. And that was when they were not playing well and had a ton of injuries. Let's go to Tuesday because Tuesday is absolutely stacked. We're going to talk about the German Cup in just a second, but let's begin with your Premier League best bet for Tuesday because there's a nice slate there.
There's a great slate of the Premier League games on Tuesday, and I'm glad that we have lines available because sometimes when we're doing bets like this a week in advance, it can be tricky to find playable lines or tricky to find playable matches in general. But I do have a game right now that I really love, and it's betting on a team that we've already bet on this show. I'm looking for the West Ham Hammers, baby, hosting Tottenham Hotspurs, and I'm taking Tottenham Hotspurs to score in the first half. West Ham are they're doing well right now. They're turning things around. They're 7th on the table. This is a team that after a really, really bad start are showing that they've got some fight in them. They're showing that they have form, but they're just not quite there defensively yet. This is a team that thankfully is scoring again. So they're fun to bet on for things like both teams to score in the over, but they're conceding twice to Burnley. They're conceding to Everton. They're still conceding twice to Brentford, losing 2-0 to Forest. This is a team that while they're finding a little bit of attacking form defensively, Ian, I am just not sold by this club at all. And when I'm looking at a Spurs side, who I think will probably beat Luton Town, they should be even more motivated in the second matchup against West Ham because now that top 4 battle is going to be very, very close, and Spurs need to be attacking right out of the gate, especially after that Fulham lost, if they want to remain a top 4 club in Europe.
Yeah, I agree with you. Obviously, we need to wait and see what happens with players out of their game from the weekend, but very quickly it's a turnaround and playing on Tuesday so quickly after it in a London, let's not forget, it's a London derby, right? Yeah. So West Ham are a difficult team to go and compete against. But, I mean, who's betting against Tottenham Hotspur right now? No one's betting against them because they're so entertaining to watch. You're always betting for goals. They've scored 30 goals from 14 away games this season. It's fucking ridiculous. Ange Ball is alive and kicking. Now, let's get to the big one. It is, of course, the DFB Pokal. And Buckets, we have reached the semi-final stage where there is only one Bundesliga team left from the 4. And in one of the semi-finals, which will be taking place on the day that we are placing, which is Tuesday, Saarbrücken against FC Kaiserslautern, which is 2nd division and 3rd division teams potentially. One of them could win it, which is absolutely crazy. Oh, yeah, by the way, Leverkusen are still in it. But at the same time, it would be an amazing achievement just to get to the final for either of these great teams. Where are you going?
I'm looking at the matchup that will decide who is going to lose 6-0 to Bayer Leverkusen. I'm looking at this game between Saarbrücken hosting FC Kaiserslautern. And Ian, let's be honest, there's only one way. I'm pretty sure I can even try to bet this game. I'm looking at the Saarbrücken side, who beat Bayern Munich, who beat Eintracht Frankfurt, who beat Borussia Mönchengladbach. This is a team that beat 3 Bundesliga clubs to get to this point. Now they've got to take on a second Bundesliga team, Kaiserslautern, only to most likely have to face, again, a Bundesliga side. I'm keeping it simple. I'm doing one thing and one thing only. Saarbrücken to qualify for the final at -110. Home field advantage, a Cinderella story, all the momentum in the world. This is the Spakenburg of Germany right now, and there is no way I'm betting against this club in the form they're in after they've shown that it doesn't matter who the opponent is. They're going to beat the best teams on the planet. Then they can beat Kaiserslautern. Love the matchup. Give me goals all day, but Saarbrücken will be the ones to advance.
By the way, it's kind of a crazy bet when you think about it, right? Because both teams are not playing well in their respective leagues. Kaiserslautern are just above the relegation zone. Saarbrücken are a mid-table team in the third tier. And Kaiserslautern have a big game this weekend. They're playing Dusseldorf, who are fighting for automatic promotion this weekend ahead of that game on Tuesday. So I'm really intrigued to see how they handle it. And even though they've been back to winning ways most recently, Kaiserslautern, and they got a good result in Hanover before the international break, this is going to be a really tough game for them because, as you pointed out, Saarbrücken have got something special going on there. And I'm so glad this is the tie for Saarbrücken. I remember when I got to the semi-final, we drew Bayern Munich, which was amazing, right? It was an amazing experience, a game I'll never forget, but I wanted to make the final. You know, I didn't want to just make it to the semi. If I wanted to go to Berlin, I wanted to be in the final. And the fact that Saarbrücken have this chance, I don't see them passing this up. So to get an odd like that, what was it, -110 just to qualify?
Just to qualify, yep.
Fucking hell, it's a great line, man. It's a great line, and I don't think I'll be scared from putting a full unit on that. I think that's a great play. Love the look
Ian,
well.
I do want to say as well, there's no player lines available, but when player goal lines become available, look at Kai Brunker right now for the Saarbrücken side. He scored the game winner against Gladbach, and he also scored against Frankfurt. So this is a guy who is relishing scoring in this competition. And because it's Saarbrücken, he's probably going to be close to +300 when it comes out.
Great stuff, Buckets. And because we are back with an absolute banger of an episode and providing so many best bets, producer Jeff is already jumping in with some bets as well, we decided it was time to welcome her back. Take a listen to this weekend's best bet in Major League Soccer from the one and only Hot Coco.
What's up, gang? I'm back. I almost took another week's vacation because, boys, you absolutely smashed it in last week's MLS pick, making me very proud. But I had to come back for the loyal listeners and give this week's MLS pick of the week. And trust me, it's a steamy one. So this week I'm going to a very familiar team, and that is Atlanta United. They played away from home last week and they lost. They were missing some key players, specifically Giakoumakis. And that's who I'm looking at for my bet. He is currently sitting at +110 for anytime goal scorer. Plus numbers. The last 2 games he's played were at home where he scored 4 goals. And he's +110 for anytime goal scorer. The only thing I would look out for is if he's in the starting 11 because he did just play for Greece. So they might be resting in. But the fact that he did play for Greece, he missed a killer penalty kick. He is going to want to get that game behind him. And the best way to do it, the best way to make the noise quiet is by scoring goals. And specifically scoring goals in front of your home fans. So I think this is a really good look. Just keep an eye out for the starting 11. And anyways, I hope you guys all enjoy and have a great week, and we'll see you soon.
Holy shit, Buckets. For some reason, the sportsbooks seem to forget that Atlanta United at home and Atlanta United with Giakoumakis scoring goals at home in the fashion that he's doing, they seem to forget how fucking good he is. And once again, he's at plus numbers. I can't believe it. Great wager from Hot Coco right there. But Giakoumakis, and as she pointed out right there, the disappointment from missing that penalty kick for Greece and getting knocked out of the Euros or not making the Euros, he'll be looking for a psychological relief and definitely looking to get back on the score sheet.
Yeah, no, this is a fantastic look. And I'm not surprised, of course, because it came from Hot Coco, the MLS queen herself. But plus odds still, Ian? I mean, eventually the books are going to catch on, right? This might be the last time we see him at plus odds this season.
It's absolutely ridiculous. And of course, the way they play right now at home, they're the best team I've seen to bet on at home. Played 2, won 2, scored 6, conceded 1. Away from home, probably the worst team. They haven't even scored a single goal on the road so far. They've played 2, lost 2, and conceded 3 goals on the road. And of course, we cashed that ticket this past weekend. But for Giakoumakis in particular, it just doesn't lie. He has been their best player, even though they've only just started the season. 4 goals, 1 assist in 3 matches that he's played. He was missing last weekend through the international break. Didn't play in that first game, going into the final playoff game, and then going to Georgia and missing the penalty kick. I mean, he was the one that missed. That must be psychologically damaging. So the only way I know, and I know strikers well, the only way I know they can get back to being themselves again is by scoring goals. And to see him at home where he's loved and supported, to me, this is an almost guarantee. You've got to make sure he's in the starting 11 first and foremost before you place this wager. That's great advice. But please, please, please don't forget, there's maybe a ladder to play here as well. I've had a lot of success with him at home, playing a full unit on a goal, half a unit on 2, quarter unit on 3, because anything's fucking possible here, Buckets. Is that the smart way to play here?
That's how I would play it. And whenever you are doing a ladder or a ladder kind of challenge like this, your lowest rung should always be the biggest wager. So for him to have a single goal, that's where you bet your full unit. 2 goals, you go half, just like Ian said. 3 goals, you do a quarter. As long as he gets that 1 goal, you're making profit no matter what happens with the rest of your ladder. That's exactly how you want to bet that.
Atlanta United, obviously, this weekend playing on Sunday against Chicago Fire. That's definitely the place to go play. Giakoumakis plus 110. Even when I see it, I'm just like, are you fucking kidding me? For him to score 2 goals or more, it's plus 600. For him to score 3 or more, it's plus 3,000. Man, and I'm just saying this, like, you've got to bet responsibly with this, and it's hard not to get carried away. But when I see numbers like that, I wait until he's in the starting lineup. Yeah. And for me, it's a fucking go. Thank you very much, Hot Coco. Thank you very much, John Bucket Timer. Thank you very much, Producer Jeff. What a great show this has been. Very betting heavy. Please, loyal listeners, let us know what you think about the show being betting heavy. Do you like this many bets? We're not probably going to do this consistently. It's going to be a lot less bets because we like our show the way it is. But we wanted to give you something special after the international break, knowing how much people want the wagers on club football. But it's that time. Once again, John Bucket Timer. What time is it?
Oh, FC postage time, baby. Is that the time?
Boom, boom, boom. P.O. Box time, Buckets. Give us a quick explainer before you get to the next 3 boxes, please.
All right, look at this wonderful shelf behind me. This is all stuff that has been sent to us by the loyal listeners, the freaks, the wonderful viewers of our show. Everything you see on the shelf was sent by one of you, and there's also some things in the trash can that were also sent by you that could not make it on the shelf for legal reasons. But I've got 3 more packages, Ian. I've already pre-opened all of them just to make things easier so I'm not struggling. I'm going to jump right into it.
Yeah, let's go. I'm excited. Let's go.
All right, this first one comes from Leanne.
Oh, female loyal listener. We like it.
I think it's a guy, but I'm not positive. But he sent 2 things. Let's take a look at it. The first
Liam.
one.
Did you say Liam?
It's Lian.
N. Oh, lion. Lion, bastard.
The first thing we have here is
nice.
A FIFA World Cup glass, baby. Whoa! We're drinking well tonight. I love that.
That is wicked, man. I love that. That's great.
And to go with the glass, Ian, we have ourselves a little
St. Pauli girl. There we go.
Girl drinking sign. There we go. Leon, probably saying that wrong. That's okay. Number 2.
Brilliant.
The user did not leave a name, Ian, but this is the craziest thing I've received yet. You ready?
Yeah.
It is a custom-made light-up sign, that like iron wrought sign that says Buckets.
Oh, that is fucking brilliant. I love
lights
it.
On the back. So I'll have to get that up in the background somewhere and get that picture posted. But no name with this one. So
yo, dude, that is amazing. Loyal listener out there, whoever sent that to Buckets, please, for the love of God, send us your name and let us know you were the one so that we can give you some love, because that is a hell of a gift. You know John Bucket Timer's going to put that above his bed. You know it, all right? Because when he's swiping right, that's the first thing he's going to say. I've got a light up Bucket sign right behind the bed. Porno music right there. All right, Buckets, next.
Why are there so many opportunities for porno music in every one of our videos, Ian? It makes no sense to me. But the next one is from a user on Twitter named Window. And he sent, first of all, a little Barbie dollhouse window as kind of a rep for himself.
Yeah.
And it also included
Oh, is it
Bayern? It's a trivia book. The Ultimate Bayern Munich trivia book.
Go on, ask me one. Choose any question. Ask me one.
Any question? I'm going to open up to a random page here.
Yep.
All right. How many domestic league goals did Arjen Robben score in the 2014-2015 season? And there's 4 options.
Go. What's the option?
13, 15, 17, or 20.
I'm going to guess Arjen Robben scored 17.
All right, I don't know if there's an answer key, and I have no idea. So I'm going to assume you're right. Well done, Ian. Good stuff there.
Thank you very much. Everybody jump in the comments and let me know if I was right or wrong with the book right there. Maybe next week we'll jump into the trivia book just that little bit more. Great gifts, everybody. Keep the P.O. box coming. Buckets, where can they send it to?
You can send it to, 7-1. I almost just said my address. Whoops. No, 715 Shahan Falls. I'm just gonna put it right there. Jeff, if you could make that bigger, that'd be great.
He's got you. Don't worry about it. That's your home address. That's your home address. No, I'm joking.
That'd be tough.
Hey, great show, Buckets. Real quickly before we get the fuck out of here, I tested you this week. I texted you and I said to you, I'm doing something different. I want to challenge you. You're on a good run right now. 15-5 most recently. It's great to see. But from our show, having that 5-1 show, it was great for us to be back. It probably would have been 6-1 had that one game not been cancelled. But how did you feel with this show, having so many bets and so many great games to go for?
I loved it, man, if I'm being honest. I mean, betting is what I do. Finding value in games is what I think I'm best at in this space. So I always appreciate a challenge. I will say getting that text around midnight was a little bit tricky, but I made it work and I found what I think are great bets for all of us.
That's how we roll, baby. All right. That's how we roll. Got out of the studio around 10 o'clock last night, and got home, started working on the show. And I was like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm ripping up the format. We're doing something different here. And I know producer Jeff's going to work his magic behind the scenes. Everybody, thank you so much for the love, the likes, the subscribe, and the comments. The comments mean the fucking world. This show is going to be a banger. We're going to be posting it. It's going to be in your fucking face. And for those people out there who are absolute assholes and love to comment on our losers, you may have an opportunity because we're producing 14 fucking bets this weekend. I'm hoping we have profit this week because I feel like we've got a bit of a point to prove to the rest of the world that we're the best in the business. Please make it be a success story. Bet responsibly, everybody, because it is a wild show. We are absolutely taking a massive gamble here by putting 14 picks out there. It's not always responsible to do so, but we're doing it because we love our loyal listeners. We know what they want. We know what they demand. And as is this weekend, because it's so many great games, it's an opportunity for us to be in your face on social media. So expect to see a lot from me and Buckets across social media. A lot of posts about wins, some posts about how we're getting on. Buckets is going to provide extra picks on social media as well. Buckets, what platforms are we available on?
Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. I think that's realistically the 4 right now, right?
It is absolutely the floor. Buckets is posting pretty much daily on there now. One, especially every single day. Most of the time, it's 2 posts every day across those platforms, and he's going to be consistently doing that. On YouTube in particular, please make sure you like. Please make sure you're dropping comments. It means the absolute world to us. Let us know exactly what you love about the show. Let us know which team you support, where you're watching from. If there's anything you don't like or you'd like to see different, let us know. Also, just drop in a comment and share the love, because the numbers obviously make the show grow and we want people to take notice. So whatever you can do to share this show, that's how we're going to be able to grow. Even if you're just watching this show right now or you've switched off or whatever the fuck, make sure you're sharing the show as much as you possibly can anyway. Tell your friends to share the show. That's how we're going to spread like wildfire. But please like, subscribe, and comment and do what I fucking tell you to do. All right. Buckets, it's been great having you. I appreciate you. I want everybody out there to fucking bet responsibly, like I've already said. But I want everybody to understand that we want to make sure you're having a great weekend. Buckets, what are you doing this weekend?
This weekend, I'm actually going back home to Indiana, Easter Sunday, spending some time with the family, seeing the nieces, nephews. And most of the time, I'll be kind of hiding on my phone, checking on wagers and tweeting out to everybody still.
It is Easter this weekend, so I hope everybody has a fantastic Easter weekend. I will have my best friend John all down here with his wonderful wife Sophie to celebrate with us this weekend and our children. We're going to have a good time. I'll be watching every goddamn game that's on TV because I'm off Saturday and Sunday, so I'm available on social media. If you find me on there, feel free to drop in a comment. Buckets John Betts across his social media platforms. I'm at Joy Paul Ian. Please make sure you're following across the board and make sure this weekend you absolutely have
Stoppage time.